Hello, everyone. How you doing? Good evening. Welcome to Loud and Proud Orlando. It's Monday, July 31st, 8:41 p.m. Thank you so much for being live. We're about 7 people live, so thank you so much for being on the pod with us today. We are upon a, we're upon the dawn of making a new statement around the league, right? I think Orlando City has a huge opportunity to put themselves and literally kill one of the league's darlings now, which is Inter Miami. A few months back, before it was announced that Messi was probably coming into the MLS, the league's darling, I think it was LAFC. Now things have completely changed. Now it's Inter Miami. Whether we like it or not, we cannot turn back time and change anything. He was coming. And in my other show, we said it about a year ago, and no one believed me. They're like, Louis, you're crazy. He's not ever gonna come to the MLS. Why would Messi there to put his little itty bitty feet in a field and in a league like MLS? Come on, are you crazy? Well, he did, and he's here. Now, the immediate impact he has made to the team is what it looks like is that he's making all his teammates look good around him. So now I feel that Inter faces not only a rivalry, it's a rivalry game, but bigger competition, a bigger fish to fry because Atlanta is down and out. A lot of the competition they faced have been subpar, and I think Orlando right now is coming hot. It's coming with a lot of momentum, and it's coming to definitely slay the dragon, right? So with me is John, Paola, and we're gonna read all your comments. We're gonna talk about what's at stake for us against Inter Miami, this League's Cup, and everything else. And thank you so much for being live with us. I give the mic to John, I wanted to go ahead and tell you guys to keep supporting us. Drop us a thumbs up. Click. Subscribe to the channel. Click on the notification bells for all notifications. We are live on Twitter, also on our new Facebook page, Loud and Proud Orlando, and as well follow us on Instagram as Loud and Proud Orlando. And thank you so much for that. John, how are you doing, my friend? What are your expectations of this game coming up against the GOAT?
I'm good, thanks, buddy. How are you doing? What a game that was against Santos. It was incredible. Me and Paul actually watched this one together.
Oh,
So
wow.
we
Look at
we got
that.
to make comments about things, and we were right in front of OC legend Bendy Michelle, who was just
Wow.
hanging out in the club as well. He went over to the wall later in the game to go say hi to all the supporter groups, but it was just a great game, man. I had a great time, and the cardiac cats were back, but in a good way. You know what I mean? I love it. I love it when we win in the last minute. The stadium just pops off. It was electric. So that's always good to see. And revenge against Santos was also like a nice,
For
sweet thing.
sure. Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, we Orlando beat and I think that's what Orlando needs to take and feel proud is that little Orlando City from Central Florida, Mickey Mouse Land, and everything you want to add into it. Bithlo, Florida, Christmas, Florida, UCF, Lakeland, Lake Nona, Little Orlando defeated a Mexican powerhouse, somebody that won the Liga MX a few seasons ago. So, and with a golazo from Wilder Cartagena with a superb assist from Cesar Araujo. Paola, how are you? Welcome back.
I'm doing fantastic after that win. John saw me super stressed. I was like, "Come on, boys, come on." So, yeah, I'm doing good. I don't know how I'm sleeping all these days thinking about Miami because I really, really want this win because this game is gonna be the definition of future games against Miami. So I'm super hype. I'm happy to be back with you guys. So I'm happy to talk about the game. So let's keep it rolling.
I do want to say, from starters, Orlando City play I'll say a great game against Santos. What won, in my opinion, the game for Orlando City was the midfield. I mean, when both Cesar and Wilder had over 90 passes completed, both of them, 50 for Wilder and 40 for Cesar. So, I mean, that tells you they were not only creating situations, but also recuperating the ball, neutralizing the attacks from Santos right on the mid. Also, another good game from a center back duo. And one thing I would say is that Kyle again. We're confiding in Kyle a lot, and obviously Kyle seems again to maybe have just a few minutes, but Oscar has found that Dagger Dan, and that's why I wanted to ask you, John, what were your thoughts of Dagger Dan coming in for Kyle Smith? Because to me, I didn't feel he made as much of an impact as he did in the first game.
Yeah, I think first of all, I want to say that I like this pattern that Oscar started, where he
Mhm.
plays, Kyle for the first half or maybe 60 minutes, and then he brings
Right.
on Dagger Dan. I think Dagger is a very attacking right back, and if he comes on and he's not able to influence the game from that position, then you end up with a scenario where he's not influencing the attack, but also he's not the strongest defender. So this game, wasn't the best from Dagger, and I love him so much, but I will happily admit when my favorite players don't play well, and this wasn't the best from him, and I think it shows that we need Kyle to be performing against Miami for sure. Like we don't have another right back that can do everything that he can do.
We got Brian Reynolds, right?
Yeah,
No,
there's
just
no
kidding.
Reynolds. I wish he was here for this game. So basically, we have to play Kyle, and I think that's fine. I think he's just had a couple games where he's looked a little off the pace, maybe a step or two behind. He hasn't been making the best tackles. So, but we've seen that from him this season, and then we've seen other games where he's played really, really well. So I think there's every chance he can turn it around, and I think the same with Dagger. Like I think let's bring on Dagger later in the game to play that right back when we want to open up and attack more. It's definitely what we should do. Yeah, he's gonna leave us a little bit defensively weaker, but usually when Oscar's making that decision, he's because he wants us to be more attacking, and he's allowing that sort of to happen. But the issue we have then is with Rafa still on the field, being extremely attacking down the left, and Dagger being very attacking down the right. If both our fullbacks go really high up the field, Luis, that can cause us a bit of an issue. Whereas when Kyle's on the field, he tends to sit a little bit and doesn't quite advance as much as Dagger would. So I definitely think it has to be Kyle to start against Miami. As much as I love Dagger, I don't think he's quite there
Yeah,
yet. We
I'll,
can't rely on him to play right back for 90 minutes.
and to go to Paola, I do want to say that one thing that we need to Orlando needs to improve tremendously is the golden opportunities to score goals. I mean, in the first half, I mean, you're talking about so many options that Orlando should have taken the lead on multiple occasions in the first half. You had the Mauricio Pereira set piece to Kyle Smith. Then you had Robin leading off for Duncan, and then he hit the post. Even though Jensen was a little bit offside, but you know what I mean. It's just those are the Ivan Angulo that literally was unstoppable on that left flank. I mean, Emerson Rodriguez and Raul Lopez, even though Raul Lopez scored that lone goal for Santos, Ivan Angulo was dominating that left flank, and there was not there was creation of plays, but not finishing. And I think that's shown tremendously after Duncan scored. Who else do we got? Did Ramiro make the same impact? And that's the problem. I think Orlando needs to capitalize sooner. Paola, what were your thoughts on the game, and what are your expectations coming up to this game against Miami?
No, like we had like four chances in the
Yeah.
first 15 minutes because I rewatched the highlights, and I rewatched a little bit of the game, and I count them. So it was like 5-4 chances that we should have capitalized first. And I was telling John, I'm like, we need this. And he was like, yeah, we need to score at least minimum the first 15 minutes. And what
Exactly.
happened? Santos scored after the what? Minute 40, 40
Yeah, it's like
something?
40 something.
40
Yeah, they
something.
scored on us, and it was a. I mean, I thought things were gonna crumble down at that point. To be honest with
Exactly.
you.
That was my fear because we have talked about it before here in the pod that we need to score the first 15 minutes to be stable in the entire game, because if we don't score in the first half, or we don't tie in the first half, things are going to be complicated in the second half. So thank God that cross from Rafa to Maguire to save the first half, and
Yeah,
we
that was
had
an
that
amazing
game
goal.
under control. Because I don't know if we would have won that game. Probably a tie because of Pereira magnificent goal. I was telling and screaming. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, did he shoot that ball and he scored? I was jumping. I'm like, this is what a number 10 is supposed to be doing. Scoring goals like this. And it's not that Pereira sucks. I'm not telling that. It's what do we know about Pereira? He is the playmaker. He do the key passes, but sometimes he needs to take the risk, like on this one that he scored that goal. And I think this is going to help him in the momentum that we are, and probably he's going to we're gonna probably see more of these, or a couple of these chances in the future. So I was happy about Dagger. I agree with John. It's just adapting. Like, he's a super utility. This is not his supernatural position. He's doing us a favor technically, and he's doing a favor for Pareja, and he just need to adjust a couple of things, just pressure a little bit more in that right flank, because he was giving them too much space, and that's where we had a little bit of non-control of the ball, and they were having their momentum. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna score, but they didn't, thank God. So I'm super hype. I don't know, after this game, I like those two goals from Santos. They got lucky because Galese, I don't know if Galese had a bad game. This wasn't his best performance. The second goal, it was choppy. Like, why do we have a VAR in the game if they're not gonna use it? Tell me.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I could talk all day about the refereeing, and
Right?
we're never gonna get anywhere.
I was
But
telling John, I'm like, he doesn't know what he was doing. He was like,
it was it
he
was a
was trying
joke.
to like talk
Well,
to the up guys and everything, and I'm like, if we have a VAR, just go look at it. Like, I don't know,
well, I
but
think
yeah.
what's frustrates me is I'm like the like VAR refs are looking at four different screens, and then I guess they're informing the ref of what they can see. And usually the ref can go over to the little screen and look at like one of the
Right.
four, right? The one angle that he gets.
Then he makes the
And he doesn't
decision.
even go to do that. And it's decisions on him.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I think if you're going to have him not look at the screen like they've been doing in Leeds Cup, then the decision should be made by the fourth officials for that, right? Because why have VAR if the guy's just being described what happened?
And this is the
It doesn't
reason
make any
why.
sense to me.
And this is the reason why Orlando City needs to be ready for this game coming up. I mean, people are overlooking this game. It is such a massive game for not only our franchise, but it's a massive game for respect worldwide. Just like, like you're talking about, I come from a different world. After this show, I go to a complete different world in which everybody's talking about Inter Miami and no one is really acknowledging anything that Orlando's doing because number one, ignorance. Number two, they don't know the league. Number three, Messi sells, right? So, but Orlando would put, I mean, we have to be completely bluntly honest. The MLS has neglected so many franchises from the MLS. not only Orlando, but you don't see Nashville right on top of all the marquees, right? So Orlando will force themselves upon the marquee with a win against Miami tomorrow. No, the day after tomorrow. With a win against Miami, Orlando puts himself on every single newspaper in the world as the first team in the MLS that defeated Lionel Messi and his squad, with Jordi Alba coming from Barcelona, right? And they'll be forced to talk about us at this point. You know what I mean? And to see Duncan McGuire and to see how good Cesar Araujo has been playing lately and to see how much of a playmaker Santos has been on that flank for so long, right? And so I think that's important, number one. But we have to be also ready, our fan base and the boys, if they're watching, to learn how to play with 9 men and to mistakenly have, I mean, they've screwed us over with decisions so many times in so blatant games the past 3 seasons, and I've covered them, right? They're not going to screw us in this game against Messi. You know what makes you think that they're not going to go check a VAR? That they're not going to go, they're going to, oh, no, or take out a red card. So we're fighting against 12 men. Not, and I'm not talking about the Vice City people. I'm talking about also Pro being in this.
Well, I think
John.
even more than that, Luis, this is an unprecedented situation in the world of soccer, in the world of football, because I don't think, unless someone can tell me in another scenario where a player's success who plays in a league is directly tied to the revenue that that league generates and that
Exactly.
Apple makes and Adidas makes. So maybe that's happened before, but it's a very unique situation, and that's sort of where these lines start to get a little blurry. It's okay, well, they make significantly less money if we knock them out of the tournament, right? There's 3 weeks where Messi is not going to be playing if we knock them out of the tournament.
You
So
know,
I think everybody should be ready for some really questionable calls. I feel like there's going to be that one moment in the game where it's going to be almost so obvious what is happening, and
mhm.
we're going to be powerless to stop it.
And we have to at that point do what Oscar said: maintain our composure, even though it's going to be so hard. As Orlando, as soccer. Okay, I will have to say this, and I know it's going to sound so probably out of proportion. Out of Florida, we're the more soccer cultured city. We've been
For
doing it
sure.
since 2009. If you really want to get to it, if you
I
want to
mean,
get
how many
froggy,
USA games has Miami hosted in recent years?
exactly. So I think as us being the soccer capital of the state, and I think I could say that with a lot of freshness in my voice, soccer capital of the state, then we need to definitely like be ready to be poised in this type of situations. And I think this is a huge test for Orlando. What really upsets me is that everyone is talking about, like the celebration of Messi and all of that and how they're gonna do that to Orlando and all of that, but they're overlooking the fact that the US men's national team is now scouting Duncan McGuire. And that is fantastic news. You know what I mean? So what better game to truly make a statement, to definitely be the first team that gives Messi and his squad an L. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's unprecedented now. That's why, and to tie in with Paula, I'm gonna give Paula. I think Paola, we need to score in the first 15 minutes because this
No doubt.
whole this whole ordeal of the weirdness happening, it will happen in the minute after the break, more than likely. You know what I mean?
For
and
sure.
and so I don't know, what do you think about that, Paola?
I mean, we just have to be smart and like Oscar just said, like keep our feet on in the ground, right? Um because they're going to look for free kicks, right? Because Messi is going to take it. But I know this guy, the guy that you're showing here, Duncan
Right.
McGuire. He's not afraid. and he's a
Oh, of
rookie.
course.
He's not afraid of it. And I started laughing of the question of after the press box. Like somebody asked him, "Hey, about
Yeah.
what are our expectations?"
Pretty good game. I did not envision that,
And
but
then he said, "Winning."
it's pretty good game. My bucket list thing I never thought would happen, but it's happening now, so I'll take it.
What are you looking forward to the most in that
And that's
game?
the question.
Winning. It's kind of weird to think about, but it's gonna be.
Man, I love that kid, man. I mean,
Like his
you understand,
mentality, his like
that's what and people overlook this, and I think this is the reason why, John, we need to like go out gun ho. Obviously, not to foul Messi and to make him, because that's gonna be bad for us.
Yep.
But like truly, like show what we're all about, man. Like, I mean,
Well,
the
I think
stats are
you
with
said it.
us against
I think
Miami. Go ahead.
the difference is, Luis, like you said at the beginning, yes, Messi has arrived. Yes, Messi's playing for Miami. He's improved them in the first two games, but who they played in the first two games were not particularly great. Like Cruz Azul had a lot of chances against them and just didn't. They should have won that game, really. And then Messi wins it with a free kick in the last minute. Atlanta, like you talked about, just the defense is just horrible for Atlanta some games, and they, Fraguzon's just falling on the floor. If you look at that game, they made it too easy. Like they were not good enough at pressing and closing down Messi at all, or anybody else on that team, really. So I think this game will be an example of where their level is at. Now, if they come along and they beat us, sure, then they're definitely onto something. But it might be more likely the case that this is going to be a much tougher test for them, and we're going to be more of a challenge, and we're going to see, can they rise up to the level that we have at MLS, or are they going to fall short? So,
and they
You
haven't
know,
traveled neither. They
no,
have
well,
stayed at
that, and,
Miami.
they get a week's rest and all that stuff. And
Hmm.
there's
yeah, and then
lots
they
of
get
things,
and
but
then they get Jordi Alba in the meantime, right? And that's
I think the biggest thing for me is that the game is called fairly. And I think that's what, we're talking about, that there's a chance that, there's Messi fouls, like the one he got against Cruz Azul is not a foul. And it was 2 minutes after the whistle should have gone, that kind of
exactly.
thing. How much of that are we going to have to withstand? And I also think that our guys, some of them have a tendency to lose it. And this is the kind of game where they can be driven mad by the referee, doing bad decisions, or by, just the rivalry and all the angst and anger and hype that it is going to be around this game. So we need guys like Janssen to just keep a cool head, and Cesar, and Wilder. Both of them, I love them, but they sometimes go in with these flying challenges, like 2-foot sliding challenges. And if you do that on Messi, this ref will just send you off immediately.
Exactly.
So we have to be careful. But having said that, Luis, I think that the double pivot is the key for me.
Yeah.
I think that they have not come up against a defensive midfield pairing like Wilder and Cesar that has the potential to, you can't stop Messi, but you can make it a lot more difficult for him. You can basically close him out a lot of the game, not all of the game, right? You can make it as hard as possible for him to do the things he wants to do. And I think that's Wilder and Cesar's job. And if they can do that and kind of limit Messi, then I think that's our best chance at being able to do something. And in some ways, I think maybe we should be going back to the old Oscar system, and maybe,
No, I
think it's
think
hard
we
for us
should.
to dominate the ball when you're playing a team that has Messi in it, right? Like, I
But
think
yeah,
if we
but
try to
that's
compete
how.
with them on possession, they're probably gonna beat us out in that. So I would like to see us be a little bit more conservative, not like go full, sit back and completely let them at us. But I think also if we attack them too aggressively, they will punish us. So we have to have that balance.
Now let's look at
Just
their.
right.
Let's look at their back line, right? I mean, and you have to understand from my understanding and what I'm being told is that Jordi Alba is training with the team now, and he's going to have minutes. But this should be the back four of Inter Miami: Yedlin, Kristoff, Miller, and Allen. Now, be honest with you, I think we win. We win. Orlando wins the center back pair. If we compare the two, because to me, Kamal Miller is really not a center back. He's literally a left back, but they're using him as a center back for some reason here. So now, what Orlando needs to do is, you know, when they have the chance to capitalize, we need to see more of that Wilder Cesar recouping the ball. We need to see Mauricio, and he admitted it, Paola, because you were saying it just now. Why isn't Mauricio shooting the ball this way? And he said it. People in training have told me why I don't do this. I sometimes have a tendency not to shoot from distance, and so we're
We've
going to need
noticed,
this.
Mauricio. We've
Yeah,
noticed.
I think everyone in Orlando has noticed. So there's a huge chance that Calendar may be by himself with shots from distance right here. So we need to learn, and we also need to learn how to use our set pieces. You imagine there's a corner kick, Facundo Torres goes for it, and then Duncan scores off a header in minute 10.
Well,
That's
I
up.
was saying to Paula that if you go back and watch Dunk's highlights from college, a lot of those goals he scored for Creighton were headed goals, and some of them straight from corners. So what we saw with Santos, I think we should be aiming for Duncan McGuire on our corners, get him on the near post. I think that Antonio and Janssen just aren't. They're not great attacking.
Yeah,
headers.
they need to stay back.
A lot of the time, they hit it directly at the ground or just completely off target, and that's another wasted set piece. I think we should be aiming for Duncan on these set pieces. He can jump just as high and is a better header.
And talking about that, Paula, with Duncan, what are your thoughts? Look, most Orlando City shots on target, 20 shots on target is Martin Ojeda, and 16 is Duncan McGuire. I mean, that's just great stats overall by the Holland
He's
of
our
the Heart.
secret weapon. He's gonna. I think him and probably Facu are gonna shine on Wednesday. And this is me talking if Wilder and Cesar are pivots. They are 100%. And I think like they had that. This is a derby, right? And they all know it. So they have that fuel inside of them that they want to burn Miami, right? So, I mean, give it to the kid. Like he's not afraid. And that's why like his maturity is a lot. How old is he? 20, 21?
Duncan McGuire?
Yeah.
He's 23.
Yeah, he's
23.
23.
Still, he's super.
Yeah, 22,
like,
22 years old.
22, super focused. So I can see him score. And like John said, let's practice a different way of the corners because they're not effective. I don't know why Mauricio sometimes doesn't take. I like Mauricio taking better the corners than Facu. I don't know why. I see more the ball more, going in more inside the box. So I think Duncan, we need a different formula for free kicks and corners for Wednesday for sure. So
The first 45 are going to be vital for Orlando City. Orlando City cannot go at the half 1-0, either 1-0 down or we need to be 1-0 up at least in the first half, because one thing that the opposition is not taking into consideration, I think this is going to be hilarious what I'm going to say, and what people in Orlando heavily complain how Orlando plays too defensively and we need to play like Real Madrid, right? We have a coach that's able to hunker down very well. Better than maybe a lot of the teams in the MLS. So that's why I think it's important to know, right? To score in the first 45. It's going to be huge. Now, I will say this, when it comes to the record, I want to give a credit to my friend Alonso Contreras right here. So 11 matches between Orlando City and Inter Miami, John. We got 5 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses, 16 goals, 3 wins in Drive Pink Stadium, 2 wins in Exploria, and we have a percentage of winning, over 45% of winning. Inter Miami, on the other hand, 3 wins, 3 draws, 5 losses, 15 goals. They've only won 3 times in DraftKings Stadium, and they've never won in Exploria. Now, we face Inter Miami September 24th in Explorer Stadium. I know for a fact, I'm sure that the Wall is preparing a huge tifo, probably for Kings of Florida, right? Maybe some along those lines, right? We need to show that we're a build not bot team. And people say, "Oh, well, you always say build not bot." We're build not bot. I mean, Orlando has a bigger soccer culture, whether people like it or not. Even though people down south have maybe watched other leagues, but when it comes to domestic leagues, Orlando has a bigger soccer culture than them because we're used to watching amateur, then USL. They won cups in USL, and then they transitioned to the MLS. So that tells you that domestically they know what they're talking about. A lot of the people here. So, what do you think about the record? Do you think that makes any influence in what's happening the day after tomorrow?
Yes and no. I think we go down there with a bit more confidence because we know who they are and we feel confident going to Dry Pink and getting these wins. I think what all the pundits are saying is that it's a different Miami team with Messi, which is true, very true. But how much better of a Miami team? That's the question, right? And that goes back to what we are talking about before. It is a new era for them, and I think that saying that they're going to be just as bad as they were before would be naive. It just depends sort of how quickly this team can gel that they're putting together. Because yes, Messi is a part of it, but it's also a lot of new signings they're bringing in. They're doing a big turnover, changes in the locker room. So I feel that coming up against a side like ours, it's well organized. Hopefully, that's going to show through in this match that we are on form and we're a team that has been playing together for the whole season and developing and growing. And we're kind of I wouldn't say we're in our best form in the season, but I think we haven't stagnated like we would in other years. So I'm intrigued to see, whether we can take that good form down to Miami and beat these guys because they're not untouchable. And I think that's what annoys me personally is everybody acting like just because they have Messi that they can't lose a single game. They still have the same defense pretty much that conceded all those goals and put them at the bottom of MLS. So if we can get past Messi and we're up against Drake Callender and the rest of his squad, then I think we have a good chance. And that's where guys like Facu have to have a big game and Duncan McGuire. It's funny you're talking about that because I posted on Twitter about how I just find it very ironic that on one side you've got Oscar sitting there planning, like, what do we do about the GOAT that is Messi? And on the other side, you've got Tata trying to figure out how we deal with this rookie called Duncan McGuire who just can't stop scoring goals. And I think that basically shows exactly the difference between our two clubs and where we are. We're all about the youth and forward thinking, and this team is built with the guys that were from the past, to be honest.
I mean, no disrespect, I mean, for what they've definitely accomplished in the soccer world, but it is obviously two different visions, right? Two different views of how do you want to be represented in the MLS. You want to do it the the old way, I will say, bringing players that were prolific and they're on their way out, or creating the Junus Munsas, creating maybe the Ricardo Pepis, creating the Brian Reynolds, creating the Calendars, creating the Thomas Williams, the Fabian, all those players. I mean, what kind of league do we want to be? What kind of country do we want to represent in the World Cup in 2026? So you have to understand, Messi, he has 2 good seasons left, maybe, if Jordi as well, Busquets, and then what has built, but what's behind them? What's next for Miami? Are they gonna just tank after that? I think that's bad for their fans in a way. They have nothing to fall back on. I mean, But like I said, we're gonna be facing the league's darling, and this is the fourth time, and it was like this. Um, this tweet says from one of my colleagues down in Peru. Messi will face for the fourth time Peruvian goalkeeper Pedro Galese, who he has not been able to score. Yes, he has not been able to score on Galese. On October 5th of 2017, Argentina Peru 0-0, 90 minutes. Galese, monster night. November 18th, they lost 2-0. Peru lost 2-0 in Argentina. Messi did not score in that game. And then October 14th, Argentina beat Peru 1-0. Messi did not score on that game either. So the next game that they're going to face each other will be for this Leagues Cup. So, there's a lot of high expectation. I think our DPs need to have, if you're a DP in the MLS and you face Messi, this is the time to shine. I don't know if I'm being too harsh, Paola. Right?
No, that's the correct thing. I was thinking about Facu. I was thinking about Ojeda. I was thinking about
Because
even Kara about this.
it's better for them. Because imagine
Yeah.
if Faku has a monster night. Imagine if Duncan has a monster night.
Mhm.
Imagine that, right? Let's say Orlando wins 3-0 in Miami, right? This is Faku's agent can cut the clip, him scoring a goal, send it to anywhere else in the world. I
Facu
don't know, John.
or
Am I
against Messi.
exaggerating?
No,
No.
I mean you're totally right, and I think that's where a lot of the you know opportunity for our players and the ones that think globally and the ones that think about Europe in the future. Is, I mean, someone said in the comments, this is second biggest game in OC history on Wednesday, and I think that's probably quite accurate. After the Open Cup final,
Yes.
weirdly, this game is so significant because we're playing someone where the eyes of the world are watching, and so I think Faku will 100% feel like he needs to shine a little bit. Guys like Angulo, guys like Mauricio, even who had their time in Europe. Maybe even Kara, like we saw a little bit, a really good bit of hold up play from him last game. Maybe he can be the guy to come off the bench and score us a winning goal. Like there's an opportunity here for somebody to write their name in lights that isn't Messi by beating Messi. So whoever that is, and I'm hoping it's Big Doug McGuire, because imagine going from high school to rookie to being the guy that scores the
Scoring
winner
against
in a
Messi.
game against Messi. So that's the kind of dream. And then right after that, Luis, he's going to get called up for the
The
U.S.
U.S.
national
men's
team,
national
and the
team, of
sky is the limit
course.
for Duncan. He's just
Like,
taken off to the rocket to the moon.
And I know this is gonna sound like super controversial because I met Ricardo Pepi, but I believe if this is the season for Duncan, I don't think we're gonna see Duncan for too long either. And I feel, in my opinion, he's better than
He has
some of
better
the
number than
strikers
Ferreira.
in the men's national team. Aside from Florian Balogun, I'm sorry, Ricardo Pepe, and I'm sorry, the guy from Dallas, Jesus.
Ferreira,
What's his
huh?
Huh?
Ferreira.
Ferreira.
Ferreira, Jesus Ferreira.
Ferreira, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think Duncan is better than Ferreira, in my opinion.
Right now, Duncan has better numbers than both.
Yeah, I think to me, Duncan right now is better than Ferreira. Again, you don't want to like that get. He seems to be a pretty level-headed young kid, young man. But he has a huge future, and they're scouting him right now. They're scouting him right now. So, and this for a reason. Let's read some comments real quick, and then we'll go analyze what I kind of seen in Inter Miami, and then we'll dissect on them real quick. I was so happy and relieved when Cartagena scored his first goal, making the game-winning goal, says Joshua Tall. Hopefully, Galeza and Ojeda and Angulo have a better game against Inter. Flex, it says Messi is the new daddy of Orlando. Okay,
Oh
thanks.
yeah, are you a Miami fan by any chance?
Yeah, he's a Miami fan. Just because I'm an Orlando supporter, they're all like, flipping on me. It's okay. Maguire is a beast. Joshua Tall. Wolf Jacks, second biggest game in OC history on Wednesday. I agree. It'll be. I'll be
Feels
just
like a
so
final.
happy. It is a final. It is a final, and not only that, but it is. I mean, they're not going to see it that way because, I mean, think about it. Messi just got here. He just probably got a chicken tender sub from Publix, chilling, And then also, they don't feel that way because they've not lived the history between the two clubs. Orlando has lived it and have won in their face. A lot of the same players here. So
Well, they try to downplay this rivalry for a long
yeah,
time, and now they're like, "Oh yeah, rivals, Orlando. Did you know? Like they're in Florida. They're all right." Like now they're all about it because they think they could win. So it's ironic to me. The confidence gained from one player is incredible.
yeah, and I will go ahead and keep reading some of the comments here. I just lost the comments right here. Let's see. JCB's 95. Cartagena has got to bring it against Miami. I wholeheartedly agree. I think it's going to be key. The JCB's 95. Miami doesn't have fans; they have Messi fans. That's correct. They left. I saw a video. They left in minute 70 when he got subbed off. That's disgusting. I'll be honest with you. That is just disgusting. But anyways, I'm gonna ask you guys, what you guys think about Inter Miami. I mean, I know that, you know, to me, I have not seen Joseph Martinez making any impact whatsoever. Whatever they're telling you that he's making so much impact and he's gonna make it against Orlando, it's not true. Another thing I want to say, another myth that I've been reading in Facebook, Tata Martino is not a good coach. That's just my own opinion. Luis Carlos Pineda, find me and tell me in my face he's a great coach. I mean, yeah, he got ATL champion of the MLS, but in my opinion, overall, he's not a good coach. He failed in Barcelona. Uh, Joseph Martinez, not good. Lionel Messi, he's carrying away the team. I think these two, Sergio Busquets as well. But if you notice, Busquets is only playing maybe 65 minutes. And it's because they punish in the first half. So their high lasts 45 minutes. And who are they benefiting from those two players? And I've seen it a lot. This Kremaski kid, he's beasting. He's playing very well. I think Angulo is going to have a great, versus between him and obviously Robert Taylor. I think Robert Taylor's been more effective than Joseph Martinez. Why? Because Lionel Messi likes to cut to the middle. That's the only reason. And he's move it out of the way, Joseph. Let me pass it, And Taylor is capitalizing on those chances. Now, who's going to be on that side? That's key. Kyle Smith is going to be on that side. You know what I mean? Antonio Carlos and Robin Jensen, and then on the left is going to be Rafael Santos. So Rafael Santos could go against Messi, and DeAndre Yedlin. Now, I don't know. What are your thoughts tactically about this squad that you look? What do you think Orlando? What are some of the points Orlando needs to do defensively, John, to put a stop to Busquets and Messi, and maybe right now Alba, which is going to play for Noah Allen?
I think that Pereira needs to kind of do some closing down on Busquets because he's sort of like a deep lying playmaker there where he can run things from the deep position and play balls up to Messi and the other guys. So we need to close him down as much as we are closing Messi down with our two D mids. I think overall, I don't think their backline is particularly strong. I think if we can get past, Messi and Busquets and just have a situation where we're attacking their back four, I think that, suits us. I also agree that you're right that they're really high intensity and quite, it's important for them to get those goals within the first 50, 60 minutes. And I think later in the game, those tired legs from the older players, they have to sub them out or they just aren't able to keep up anymore. And that's where we would have an advantage that, like we saw against Santos, late in the game, if we're that determined, we're not giving up. In fact, maybe we're even starting to grow into the game a little bit more. And I think that's where we can punish them. If we score early, I think that then they'll probably get one, and then maybe we get another one late in the game. That's sort of how I see us winning this. If we don't score early, I think is, we go into the half at 0-0 or one down. I think the more and more likelihood is that they're able to hold on late in the game. I think we have to get out ahead, and try and start building a lead, because I think it's probably inevitable at some point that they get a goal with, whether that's Messi himself or Messi assisting. He's got enough about him to produce a moment of brilliance, which will probably lead to a goal at some point in this game. So we need to score more than, that. I think it's unrealistic to say that we're going to completely shut them out. Maybe we will, but I think at some point we're going to have a lapse, or he's just going to do something that's, world class that we can't stop.
What about you, Paula? What do you think we should do defensively? Do you agree with John? And
I
what?
agree with John. I think Smith needs to bring his A game for Wednesday, and he has the experience. I don't have any doubt that he's not gonna perform on Wednesday. I think probably that's why he was subbed out at the halftime and Dagger was in, just to protect him, because who else we're gonna play that position? We don't have any more, only rookies. So, and nothing bad with OCBs, but for this game we need experienced guys, veterans guys who hold that front for us. Another point that I didn't touch in the beginning of the pod is Ivan Angulo needs to find someone who pass the ball and capitalize, because he's cutting through all these players fine, and having this all of these skills, but there's nobody next to him to capitalize that. So all that effort went away. And I'm like, come on, dude. Like, or I don't know if Facu comes from the other wing, close, or Maguire or Pereira, like, help him out, because he's doing all that work trying to cut all these players and going inside the box, but nobody is there helping him. So I think if Angulo brings that A game that he bring against Santos, and someone who can help him, we can capitalize a lot way much easier and much faster on Wednesday. So I don't like, if we stop that midfield for Busquets, and Busquets is not as fast as before, we're gonna be fine. So I believe in Cartagena, and I believe in Cesar. They're gonna be angry. They're gonna be like, come on, Vikings, like Viking mode with Jansen. So I think they just need to fix their mistakes from last game, because we had a good game. Either with all those little errors, we had a great game. So just look at the tape and make new plays for those. So I'm hype.
So we're gonna read some comments, and then I will go ahead and put some testimonies from some players that have stopped Messi in instances like this. And if I know I am no coach, I trust me, but I think it's important to truly, like, because it's gonna be a psychological warfare, in my opinion. It's gonna be pretty intense for our players coming out of this. I know they're mentally ready, but I don't think they even understand the magnitude, in a way, of how this game is being built to be. So let's read some comments. Joshua Tall, I think we need to score at least 3 goals versus Inter Miami to be able to win, unless we score 2 goals and hang on with those 2 goals. Kyle Smith will stop Martinez. It says Cartagena has to bring it against Miami. Yeah, exactly, John. We're all about youth and the future, says Joshua Tall. So thank you so much. We cannot foul Inter Miami, so Messi can have a free kick near Galese. Yeah, that's a good one. But let's read some of this right here. This is, Chelsea. I don't know if you guys remember. I'm sure John remembers Bonsigua. He used to play in Chelsea, and Ashley Cole. Right. It says, you've won or lost in the first few minutes of the game. If I would have to let Messi have his way in those minutes, his confidence would have soared and mine would have been gone. And that would have been the game, said Bonsigua. That is the only priority. You give it everything in the beginning. In the beginning. That's to establish the right relationship. Then it's 90 minutes of psychological warfare. That's what I was just saying, right? Chelsea escaped Camp Nou with a 0-0 draw. Messi was for the most part kept subdued, a tribute to the emergency left backs, relentless harrying and chasing. So, harrying and chasing, John.
Yes, that's what Cesar is a pro of harrying and chasing, and Wilder's pretty good at it too. So the
Yeah,
two of
harrying
them,
and chasing.
you just gotta, it's like white on rice. You gotta stay all over that, be glued to Messi. And yeah, he's gonna get away from them sometimes. He's gonna, fool them. Of course, it's Messi, but if they can, keep him quiet most of the time and keep him very limited amount of time to be able to do what he wants to do, then that's our best hope, and that's all you can hope for, is that they are able to give him a rough match, a game where he's just not able, like he was Atlanta, just to do whatever he wants.
Now, I will add the team itself has to reduce the spaces in between. If Messi is receiving the ball at all, it can never be with comfort. When I was marking him, it wasn't so much to do on how much distance or space I gave him. Rather, it was my job to gauge how far off him I could be relative to where my teammates were. Oh, you see, a quick back and forth, not just staying behind, right? It's a tactical response where the team reacts to eat up the space in the best way. You see, fantastic. And then obviously there was a testimony from um, Bastian Schweinsteiger, right? It says, we try to focus on helping each other out. We had Schweinsteiger, Sami Khedira, and myself. We always tried to double him. Argentina were always looking for Lionel to play the ball. So it was kind of easier for us because they always played through him. We always had at least two players on him. That was Argentina in the World Cup in Germany. If he gets the ball at his feet, it becomes very difficult. So we made sure that day we always got to the ball before he did, or at least as soon as he receives it, we have to be right next to him because he takes on speed and is very hard to deal with it. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Paola?
I hope Oscar Pareja is hearing us and has his
Yeah.
little notepad um and the players, because we're giving them hint, Rafael Santos, this is what you have
Yeah.
to do to mark Messi. Don't give him space. And I don't remember who said it, but communication is the key. They try to communicate, look at each other, because that's one of the keys. Do not give him space. So there you go. Hopefully Pareja is hearing it.
If we hadn't had the double pivot up until this point, I'm pretty sure Oscar would be like, we need two
Mhm.
defensive mids. So I think
Correct.
it's wonderful that we have been using this for so long, and it's such a key part of our attack. And that's the same thing that we need to use to go ahead and stop Messi. And I think that quote you pulled up about, put two men on him,
Uh-huh.
that's what you do. That's all you can do, Luis, is try and mark him out the game.
We try to have absolutely no space between the lines of our midfield and defense. We always try to push up, and even if we dropped a little bit, we try to drop the midfield as well, so there's never any more than 7 or 8 yards difference between the two lines. Look at that. So precise. Pushing up. That means that every single player, I don't care if it's, I've seen Duncan marking, I've seen Angulo marking, but they need to truly like attack together, retreat together.
And that's
Like,
what I was saying about Mauricio. Like, even
yeah,
guys who maybe don't usually, put too much defensive work in for this game, we need to be pressing as a unit.
correct. Wolf Jack says Cartagena was halfway through taking off his shirt after he scored. Can you imagine if he scored a second yellow and missed this next game? Yeah,
I
I
think he
understand.
realized it. I think he realized, and then he was like, "Oh, what I'm doing," and
Oh
he
yeah.
put it down.
And they would have given that yellow card to him, like straight up. Yeah.
That's so stupid though. But anyways, we're not gonna talk about that.
It's a dumb thing, but it's worldwide. But anyways, we're gonna be facing Inter Miami. It's gonna be a tough game. The person who's really depressed about this game, there's somebody that's really depressed about this game. I will say he's very sad. They didn't take it very lightly of what's happening between Orlando and Inter Miami. This celebration right here, right? And everyone started saying, "Hey, you know what I mean? Darth Vader. Darth Vader came out and he's like, look, that's me. That's my celebration. You know, he even changed his outfit. Disney changed his outfit of Darth Vader just because of that celebration. And this is how he went to work, right? Then we found out that it was Thor. He tried to do the Thor, the calling of the hammer, and then, Darth Vader went into, he couldn't take it anymore. And he just took the tram, took the
The
tram,
bright light.
took the tram home. There you go. So, you know, but all jokes aside, it's going to be a tough game for us. But, there's been a lot of talk about also, the mural and people, defacing the mural and all that stuff, putting purple paint and all that stuff. What are your thoughts, real? I mean, if you guys don't want to comment, that's fine. We can talk about something else. But
Oh no, I mean,
I mean,
think
it went worldwide. I mean, it even made it to and like my cousin sent me this picture from, this is from Diario Marca from Spain. Like, you know what I mean? And
look,
then somebody on the side wrote Florida is purple on the side.
I've heard many different things about this, and a lot of the opinions that I agree on. What the first thing that I've heard from several people is why whoever did it would do it much better if it was us, right? Like, it's literally just a couple gallons of paint thrown aimlessly, not even on Messi's face. Someone was talking about that. Like, it should be, if this was us, we would do a much better job of defacing it. I think the timing of when it happened, like, it was right after the Atlanta game. Maybe that's a little bit suspicious. It could be an Atlanta fan trying to point fingers at us. I've also heard someone else say that was, it was you, Luis, saying that it was the potentially the other Inter Miami supporter groups intra fighting each other.
Yeah.
I think like someone said, who would drive 8 hours there and back? I think like to do this. There's just so many things. It's just like, wow, this. We've also had conspiracy theories that maybe it was MLS themselves just trying to, drive
stir
up
the pot, stir the pot.
rivalry, stir the pot. But I think regardless, all of that points to that it probably wasn't us. And I was annoyed. I was listening to Extra Time earlier today, and they just flat out said that it was us. Like,
Really?
yeah, they said, "Oh, the Orlando fans to face the mural." Zero
Stupid.
proof that it was the Orlando fans. Anybody can buy purple paint, so
I think
I don't appreciate this misinformation that comes out of Miami. There's so much BS that they talk, and this is just another thing where they're like, "Look, Orlando fans to face our mural." Zero proof. And also, I think if it was Orlando fan, they'd probably be like, "Yeah, it was me," and like get the props.
Look, and I don't know, what do you think, Paula? I mean, you that are so close to the fans, I highly doubt, like, for
this.
example, I highly doubt the people that we know are ever gonna drive 8 hours to throw some
Listen, we
freaking
play on
paint.
Wednesday, and I'm not gonna go.
Yeah, I can't
So
go either.
for a
I get
mural,
to work.
to put paint on it and come back, nuh-uh.
And his
Or
face is not even touched. I would
I
have
was
gone like at least
that
like the
that was my next
mustachio. When you give him a
that was
mustachio.
my next point. If
Yeah,
it
they didn't
was
touch
an
the face.
Orlando fan, I would have put something in his face. I don't know. Or more purple. This is a setup. This is more than a setup. They're not comfortable with all this press and all this attention that they're receiving from the MLS. Oh, let's do this just because we're bored. But hello. Who's gonna drive back and forth to do this? Probably was an Atlanta fan. Who knows? Who
You
knows?
know, and then a worse crime than this. There's a word. The crime against like everything is this picture. What are those? What are those? Look at that. If you are listening, you need to go into our YouTube, subscribe, and check out the Inter Miami Nike Adidas, the Nike high tops that they're doing with Messi. They're hideous. They're
I
hideous.
think I
But
saw those in the Barbie movie.
yeah, that's probably Darth Vader had it with his outfit. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. But and another thing I want to add and I want to say, and I'm going to share it right here. You know, we need to get used to for the disrespect. This is ESPN's website from Argentina. All right, and look at this question. And look, I was at the press conference at the Santos Laguna game, and there was a question from they're allowing some Argentinian media. Obviously, Messi moves the whole country, and the one guy asked Oscar a question saying, "Hey, Cruz Azul couldn't beat Messi. Atlanta couldn't beat Messi. What does it make you think that you could beat Messi?" Pretty much that was the question, and it's on our YouTube channel. We have the whole press conference. Like, so Oscar is like trying to, like trying to like be like composed and not to laugh. I was laughing because I'm like, what a dick to ask that question. You know what I mean? What a ignorant fool for asking that question. You don't even know. Like, you don't even know the league. You don't even know. You're just here for one freaking guy. You know what I mean? But anyways, he asked a question, and then this is to me another stupid question. They ask Oscar because apparently he had an interview. They're asking him, and it was, "Are you ready to hear this?" They asked him, "What if him or any of his players will ask for a picture and an autograph from Messi?" And to me, that is disrespectful. I will say this as a now. If Luis Carlos Pineda with Loud and Proud Orlando Little Outlet will come and say this question at the press conference, I'm banned. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, more than likely, the digital content manager is gonna be like, "What the hell?" Right? So, so I mean, we gotta be ready as a fan base to understand that this is the way things are gonna operate
And some
until
of the
Messi leaves the
players,
league.
Luis, are
Yeah,
big Messi fan. Like, I know Facu is a big
yeah,
Messi fan. Like, I'm sure Schlegel is a big Messi fan.
yeah.
Like, I'm sure there's quite a few of them that are big
Ojeda
fans of his.
probably.
Ojeda, like all the
But they're also
Argentinians.
professional
Yeah,
players, and they know that this is a rivalry moment. This is not the moment to get your Messi autograph, and I don't think they will be stopping in the middle of the game to
of
ask him,
course.
"Hey, can you sign my jersey before you score?" That would be great. I think that, yeah, I agree. That's ridiculous. ESPN's coverage of soccer sometimes just is astoundingly bad.
Now, are you ready for this? This is how much Messi moves people. The same time as Orlando's playing Miami is the same time as Boca Juniors plays their last chance to go through in Copa Libertadores against Nacional of Uruguay, which is Mauricio Pereira's former team. No one's gonna watch Boca Juniors for the first time in a long time. Everyone is gonna watch Inter. And I know from
Everyone's
colleagues,
gonna watch us, Louis.
us play, us beat Inter, hopefully, you know? And that's how huge it is. I mean, Orlando will be in the tip of the tongue of every single news outlet, little down the road outlet in the world. Even people from Zambia, Uganda, walk everywhere. They're going to be Orlando City. You know what I mean? So now in Argentina, they're noticing that there's Argentinians in Orlando. They're putting news about Rodrigo Schlegel and Martin Ojeda. They're saying how they come from small clubs. So we got to be ready for the disrespect. But in the end, I believe that Orlando needs to overcome the beast. I mean, huge game for us coming up. So anything else you wanna add, John, out of this?
Yeah, I mean, I was amazed right after the game. I got home, I sat down in front of the TV, and I turned it on, and I was greeted immediately. I always do this when I get home, as I go watch the highlights and see, okay,
Hmm.
what happened. And the first thing I see right on the MLS homepage is our Miami versus Orlando Wednesday game being advertised. And I swear you're not, this was like 2 hours after. So they're clearly very excited about this. They put the tagline, Messi aims to extend Miami's unforgettable run. They won 2 games. Would we call that an unforgettable run? I don't think so. Also, I just went on now to the MLS Season Pass uh, webpage. Currently, right now, we have Toluca and Colorado playing in the Leagues Cup. We have 3 games happening right now in the Leagues Cup. Guess what the first thing is you see when you land on the page? Not
Messi.
the fact there's a live game. No. You see the fact that we're playing Messi on Wednesday.
There you go.
So the league basically is just like, hey, we don't care that there's other games. We just want to promote Messi. I think it's kind of ridiculous. And I just really hope we can beat them and, put a big old rain cloud over this party they seem to be having.
Yeah, I think it would be fantastic, and it will be a shot heard around the world. It will put Orlando City on the map, and I think not only communications deserves it, the people that work in the club, but also the players. And if, like I said, if they have aspirations of moving along, I mean, this is a huge opportunity for the Kyle Smiths, the Ivan Angulos that was like benched in Palmeiras, so I don't know how many seasons, the Facundo Torres, the Duncan Maguires. This is their chance. It's a marquee game, and hopefully everything goes in our favor. And honestly, I'm gonna add this right here. I'm so happy to also know that the wall is being known worldwide. This is a colleague's outlet from Argentina, La Bola Sports, and look at the wall. We won Messi.
Messi! We want 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 Messi! Go! We want Messi! Come on! Come on!
So I mean, I think that's fantastic, right? I mean, those are the little things that are great, that to show that we are a city that has a fan base that is soccer. They love soccer, they love football, they love the sport, and they're ready to give it all for Orlando. So anything you want to add, Paola?
No, I'm super hype and I'm sad that I'm not going on Wednesday. I thought about it. I'm like, oh, I thought that the game was gonna be on a Saturday, and I'm like, if it's a Saturday, I'm going. No, it's a Wednesday. I'm like, ugh, great. So I'm hyped. I just want to win, like John said. I just want to put rain on the fire that they have right now, like that cloud and on that trend of Messi, because it's hilarious. And Tiro de Esquina podcast, I already upload our newest episode. So if you want to hear us in Spanish, just go to our channel. It's right here below my name. You can follow us and for the latest content in Spanish. So
I
thank you,
wanted.
amigos.
No, 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 no. We have to get you a banner. You just make sure. I forget to keep asking you, but we're gonna get you a banner on the next show. I promise.
Luis,
So
to Do we
Yeah,
want to speculate what the lineup and predictions might be before we go?
yeah. I wanted to, before we go to the lineup real quick, I wanted to just thank 181 Creative for the pictures. But more than likely, I wanted to tell everyone that the pictures will be uploaded tonight after my other podcast, and there's a lot of people from that are fans on these pictures. So if you see yourself, and that's you or your kids or your family, um, make sure that you comment, and then we'll tag you. And if you want it for your own, you want to just keep it for to have it as a keepsake or something, we can send it to you completely free. Like we won't charge you a dime, or and you feel free to DM us. And yeah, I wanted to do that. And also, let's do the lineup real quick here. I don't know. To me, I just feel like Orlando's gonna go out with the same lineup. I don't think they're gonna make a lot of changes, but I don't know. What are your thoughts, John? Real quick.
No, I mean I agree. I think it's doing the lineup at the start of the season was a kind of like, ooh, maybe this guy here, maybe that guy there. And it seems like in the last sort of month or so, it's just, well, we're just going to go with the same lineup again. I think Mauricio coming back in for Ojeda was good. Obviously, he had a killer game. That's the only downside to, I think, our situation right now is if we've got two DPs who can't make the first team, and that's not a good use of
That's not
assets.
good.
Let's
No,
just say
no,
that,
no, that's not good. That's not good.
you need to get those DPs firing. But hey, we're doing it without them. That's okay. I think, like I said, straight up the same lineup from before. I don't think Dagerdan should be in there instead of Smith. That's the only change that some people were maybe suggesting, but I think we need the solidity that Kyle brings with his defensive acumen. And I hope that Angulo can find those passes like Paulo was saying, because last game he seemed to be doing like he was at the beginning of the season, where he's just over dribbling or making it too complex and not picking up his head. But if he's still able to cut people apart. He just needs to find that last ball, or
Or if not, just shoot
just
it.
look up a little sooner. Yeah, or just shoot it. Like
Right,
that's fine.
Or
But
shoot
just
it,
shoot
yeah.
he's just taking one or two too many touches. He's gone back to that he was doing at the beginning of the season. So
He's being dominant. I mean, he's being
Yes.
dominant on that flank. It's just that he just needs
For
to
sure.
finish it. Just to finish the play. You know what I mean? I agree with you wholeheartedly.
And we need Pedro we need everybody to have a big game, but Pedro, it's got to be said last game. I think he probably could have made that save.
Oh yeah.
He got down and didn't really get his arms right or something. It almost looks like it went through his hands,
I think it went through his hand. It was a
Yeah.
weird goal.
And
a
then in
lot
the
of people
second
were,
goal, he was kind of like in no man's land as well.
I was like,
Yeah,
okay, a
so-
bad day at the office for Pedro.
I agree.
But like you said, he's always done well against Messi, and maybe that was a little wake up call for him to be like, okay, I really need to focus on this Miami game. And we know that he's the kind of guy who can win us games. So we need that Pedro to be there on Wednesday.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Galese up top. You got Smith, Antonio Carlos, Jensen, and Santos right at the for the back. You got Cesar Araujo, Wheeler Cartagena right in the mid. You got also as your 10, you got Mauricio Pereira. Left wing, Ivan Angulo. Right wing, Facundo Torres. And right up top, the Holland of the Heartland. Big dunk. The dunk. Duncan Maguire.
Score predictions. This is the one that I've thought long and hard about. Luis, you want to kick us off?
First, I will say I'm hopeful. I'm ready. We're gonna make a statement. Orlando City in Drive Pink Stadium. People are gonna be leaving in minute 65 because Orlando will win 3-0 tomorrow on Wednesday. 3-0.
3-0. So you're saying Messi
3-0.
gets nothing and we get 3. I mean, I love the positivity, Luis.
Yes. Yes.
Paul is not so sure about that one.
I say 3-2. Like we're gonna have a heart attack
Oh,
game.
Oh, I don't know if I could do another 3-2.
Messi will come out with a knock.
Yeah, it's gonna be tight. I think they will score. It leads to maybe a 3-2, maybe a 2-1,
Or a 3-1.
a 3-1. Maybe if they get really tired and we just start to, we bring on Enrique and Cara and get that third goal. Maybe I could see that. I could see them chasing the game with us at 2-1, and then it turns into 3-1. I'm gonna go with 2-1. I think.
Two
I
one
think. I
Orlando.
think we score early with a Duncan goal. I think Messi replies, and then Faku gets the winner, and
Oh,
we
Paco
all
gets the
just
picture
winner.
perfect.
Faku gets
Picture
the
perfect.
winner, and we all go home singing.
And then he goes to Arsenal, and then we're like, oh man, no, just kidding.
No, then we're laughing because we got that 30 mil.
Yeah. So, Jeffrey, we won Neymar Jr. El Ney. Yeah, that'd be a great signing. I want Neymar too. I would love Neymar in Orlando. Don't get me wrong. And talking about that, I do want to add, and a lot of people are not really talking too much about that, but sources have told me. I'm just kidding. Um, Orlando City is opening a position for a scouting position in Brazil. So we're going to be scouting young talent in Brazil.
It's open.
Directly from the club, working under Ricardo Moreira. So I just think it's going to be a great opportunity for us to also get the cream of the crop from Brazil too, and then we can have the next Neymar. And I believe that whenever a player that plays in the MLS makes it to the national team of the MLS of Brazil, let's say, or Argentina, that's when the league's gonna go to a different level. The league's gonna be like, oh crap, like this big prolific player came out of the MLS. You know what I mean? And that we could be on the verge of getting some good quality players for not only Orlando City but for OCB and the youth academies. So, I mean, so a scout from Brazil is not bad. So 3-0, 2-1, John and Paola. 3-2. We all agree Orlando's winning.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
If
no
it's
doubt.
3-0, guys, I need to play the lotto, bro. If it's 3-0,
Don't forget about us if you win.
no, it's 99 million, I think. Or
Oh, is that
989
right?
million. Yeah, 989 million.
Hmm.
It's crazy.
I also want to give a shout out to all the other MLS teams that are going to be supporting us because they also hate Miami. So, Cincy fans and St. Louis
Charlotte.
fans,
I
St.
saw
Louis.
Charlotte.
Charlotte, probably some Atlanta fans might even be rooting for us on this one. In this,
Weird.
we're being painted as the bad guys, right? It's good versus evil. Messi is apparently good, and we're evil, but we all know who the real evil is here. So if you're out there and you're an MLS fan, get behind Orlando City. Help us knock these guys out of the tournament.
Wear purple on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be. Look, I was told to do the reaction in Spanish in my other channel, and because people over there know that I'm a big like Orlando. I always mention Orlando City on my show, and there are people getting tired of it. So they want me to lose. So I've been thinking of reacting to it, but I'm not sure yet. But there's definitely going to be a post game in Spanish. If you guys want to watch it, I will send the link. But I'm just saying, if it's a win, I already wrote the Orlando City Muchachos version of Orlando.
Are you gonna sing it in the
We're
pot?
gonna we're gonna sing. I'm gonna sing it in the pot.
You need a crown, a king crown.
No,
Put
it's
it in.
okay. but I'm just saying, it has, it's gonna be great. Hopefully,
Well,
I'm just praying that it's gonna be an Orlando win, and I know the boys are gonna be mentally ready.
I might be going down there, Luis.
Oh, you are.
I'm working on some plans.
Take some pictures. Put some video.
Fixing to get down there to see this
Represent
game.
us, John. Represent.
Yeah.
Well,
Do
maybe
you
I can
know how much the tickets are, by the way?
at least $1,000.
150.
It's our supporter section
Oh, the
tickets are
supporter tickets
about
are 150. I heard.
150. No, that's through the supporter group. They're
That's for-
175 if you're trying to buy them on Ticketmasters. So I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, I feel for our fans that get priced out of a game that they shouldn't be priced out of. I think it's silly. Like, they should have held our price at a regular price for the away tickets.
I agree.
And I think we're, a lot of people asking for us to do the same thing to them when they come on September 17th.
Yeah,
I
we
don't know if
should.
we're
We
charging them as
should.
much, but the Messi surge charge is real.
Yeah, we should. And he's pocketing all of it. He's pocketing over every MLS game that's been broadcasted in the whole league.
Well, that's why I'm talking about this conflict of
He's making money out of St. Louis. He's making money out of Charlotte. He's making money out of DC. He's making money out of Columbus. That I do want to add, they just lost Lucas Alarayan. He went to Al Fateh, horrible team in Saudi Arabia. He went out for the money, but unless Columbus got bank, but Columbus is, I'm just saying, like, Messi's eating out of the league. Those are the implications. That's what I'm saying. We gotta be ready to play with 9 men. We gotta be ready not to harass the referee and risk us having a red card for no reason. That's what's
Do
gonna
we
happen.
know the referee? Oh, that's not gonna matter.
No, I haven't looked yet.
Also, right now, Columbus are beating America 4-1, which is
Oh,
huge.
man.
Chicago are tying with Pueblo, which would mean they go through. I just think I feel a bit vilified by some of these results for MLS. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the stat of like how many MLS wins versus Liga MX wins. And it seems like unless you're a top Mexican team, most MLS sides can do okay against you. And especially the bottom end of the Mexican table, they've been beat up by some teams. So it's great to see that we are at their level, if not better than them as a league on the whole.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need I don't know who the referee is. I don't think it's been decided yet, but I will you guys keep you
It'll
guys
be
posted.
bad, whoever he is. It won't
I was
matter.
gonna say it's gonna be bad still.
Yeah, we gotta be ready. We gotta be ready to even. I know I'm gonna be screaming at the TV. I know I'm gonna be like flipping out in the post press conference, especially if it's gonna be at the time that I'm reacting to this game. I'm gonna be flipping out. But hopefully for an Orlando win, because I believe man by man, if you take Messi and Busquets, this team was getting L's like nothing. You added Messi and Busquets, and to me, the only two players that are really being boosted are Kremashki and his name Taylor. So the only two that I noticed that are, the rest of them, they're just out there. It's just my opinion, but anyways, I wanted to thank John. I want to thank Paola. I want to thank all of you guys who've been live with us today. If you are not live and you're listening to this, I wanted to also thank you from the bottom of our hearts for supporting us. Click on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, drop us a thumbs up. It helps out. We're on Twitter as LPO_podcast, Facebook, as well as Loud and Proud Orlando, as well as Instagram as LPO_podcast, and on YouTube. And also a thank to everyone in Spotify and Apple Podcasts for, helping us broadcast this show today. And without further ado, vamos Orlando, and let's get the 3 points on Wednesday, guys.
Vamos, Orlando.
Let's
Go,
go.
Let's go, Messi. You're done, bro. You're done, bro. You're done.